Good morning. Calling to order the meeting of the Board of Health for the town of Shrewsbury. Today is November 26th. It's 8 o'clock. Minutes of the last meeting were circulated electronically. Are there any amendments?
No amendments?
No
Hear-
amendments.
Hearing none, I'll take a motion to accept them as written. Ms. Rosacci?
I'll make a motion to accept the
Ms.
minutes.
Walker?
Second the motion.
Great. Motion to approve. Ms. Rosacci?
Aye.
Ms. Walker?
Votes aye.
Abraham votes aye. The minutes are unanimously approved. Do we have a representative from 7-Eleven here? Yes, sir. You're welcome to take the chair in front. So,
Good morning, everyone.
good morning. Please have a seat. You may briefly state your case.
Yes, good morning. I think someone came into that 7-Eleven store.
Would you mind introducing yourself?
Oh, I'm so sorry. My name is Eli Carrick.
All right.
I live right on 16 Western Street, across from the 7-Eleven. And I work at 7-Eleven.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, someone came in and from the town, I believe, and they checked everything in the store. And usually, we go with all the restriction that the town or the state or anyone implements, because it's a franchise and it's very hard anyway, not to go by the laws for everyone. So we always try to obey the law as much as I can, and I do it by all means, no matter what, because any little mistake affects my franchise and I will lose my business as well, because it's not only I work there, I own the place too. So we try our best. And there's always a lot of changes into flavor, non-flavor, small cigars, things like that. So we constantly take product off the shelf. And one time they came in, the lady came in, she was very nice. My son happened to be there because it's a family-operated business. I moved in here about 6 years ago, and I bought the business. And now I'm trying to buy the house that I'm renting. So I love the community here, and I love this area. So he was there, and the lady looked at everything. She said everything's okay. I think there was one cigar. The law says it's got to be minimum $2.50. We sell them all at $2.50. So one of them maybe checked in at it because we have a different place. So it checked in at slightly below or whatever it is, and then my son took it off. He said, okay, just do whatever it takes to take care of it. And she told him, yeah, that's not a problem if you take it off, and we did. And she wasn't gonna issue a citation, and then she ended up issuing a citation for whatever it is, but I know it was like a few pennies below, and I'm not here to undercut or try not to obey the law, because we have like 8,000 items. We have probably about 300, 400 restricted items. So for one of them to be a few pennies, she looked at everything. She was terrific. Which is good. I always tell my employees to make sure everything, because everything comes pre-priced from 7-Eleven. But each town has a different restriction. So we always try to go on and try to find out, what it says. Like some towns, they allow less than $2.50 per cigar or small cigarette or whatever it's called. They don't have a minimum price. So I try to stay on top of it as much as I can. But sometimes, we order a product and it's pre-priced, but overall, we have a great record, and I'm involved in the community, and I love this town, and I don't know what to say.
So if I summarize, sir, you had product which was underpriced, below what's the legal pricing limit?
That's what she said. But
Okay.
But my son told me he checked it out and he pulled it out, and she told him she wasn't going to issue a citation, and he said, okay, well, actually, for $2.50 to have it at $2.40 or $2.49, whatever it was, And it's like I said, they come pre-priced, and that was, and she looked at all the items. She was terrific, which is good, though. I mean,
Right.
I want to,
You stated your point. Okay.
yeah.
All right. So questions from the board?
So for first timer, I'm just asking you, please, if you can, because it would really affect me a lot with the 7-Eleven. I could lose my franchise. That's how tough they are.
Okay. All right. Questions from the board?
I don't have any questions.
Okay.
No questions, thank you.
So unfortunately, there's a violation, and once we abate one, then there's a precedent set for everybody else to do the same. So I'm going to recommend that we uphold the violation as listed. So we will deny the request to abate the violation that was, the citation that was issued to this franchise. Motion on the table.
I'll second that motion.
All right. Roll call vote. Ms. Rosacci,
I vote aye.
Ms. Walker,
Votes aye.
Abraham votes aye. It's unanimous. I'm sorry, sir,
Good.
but we're not able to help. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Thank you for being
I
here.
can't say anything else.
No, we're done. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here. Okay.
Thank
We're
you.
into our public comment period, and I'll call on each member who has requested to be heard. You have 3 minutes in which to speak. Ms. Rajwani? Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Hi. I'm here today, and I have a letter that we'll be submitting, which is a formal request to this board for reevaluation of Shrewsbury's water fluoridation policy. The letter is signed by Christy Martineau Richards, Greg Richards, Sam Rajwani, and myself, Catherine Rajwani. And so the letter's a few pages. I'm not going to, in the interest of time, I'm not going to read the entire letter, but I would like to go over some parts today. Recent reports and studies from respected organizations have prompted a national discussion on community water fluoridation policy. The Federal Department of Health and Human Services and the EPA have indicated that they are reviewing new scientific findings related to fluoride in drinking water. Furthermore, a 2024 monograph from the U.S. National Toxicology Program highlighted links between high fluoride levels and lower IQs in children. As you know, in 2024, a federal court ruled against the EPA in Food and Water Watch versus EPA under the Toxic Substances Control Act, finding that fluoridation of water at 0.7 milligrams per liter, the level presently considered optimal in the U.S., poses an unreasonable risk of reduced IQ in children. The court determined that there is substantial and scientifically credible evidence establishing that fluoride poses a risk to human health. It is associated with a reduction in the IQ of children and is hazardous at dosages that are far too close to fluoride levels in the drinking water of the United States. Reduced IQ poses serious harm. Studies have linked IQ decrements of even 1 or 2 points to reduced educational attainment, reduced employment status, reduced productivity, and reduced earned wages. Subsequent to this ruling, at least 21 states have introduced bills prohibiting or repealing provisions to the addition of fluoride in public water systems, including Massachusetts Senate Bill 1517 and House Bill 2548. Considering this evolving body of evidence, a reevaluation of Shrewsbury's water fluoridation policy is a prudent and responsible action. We propose that the board review the current policy, hold a public hearing to gather community input, and consider the latest scientific research. The public hearing process is essential for providing transparency and allowing residents to voice their perspectives. We request that the Board of Health place this item on a special meeting agenda for a public discussion of the following topics. Number 1, is compulsory water fluoridation a justifiable public health measure? A discussion of a significant risk to public health that would necessitate water fluoridation based on scientific methods. 2, scientific literature and HHS updates. An analysis of the most recent scientific literature regarding fluoride's health effects, particularly its impact on children's neurodevelopment, including the 2024 monograph and federal court ruling. 3. Informed consent inquiry and response. At the October 22nd, 2025 special town meeting, a question was asked to the health director, Annette Garcia, by a town meeting member about whether Shrewsbury's decision to fluoridate its water violated the principles of informed consent. Shrewsbury's residents were not given an answer because Ms. Garcia declined to answer the specific question posed to her. Ms. Garcia owes a response to the residents about community water fluoridation violating their rights in the principles of informed consent. 4. Rigorous monitoring of results in vulnerable population protection. While Shrewsbury monitors the actual fluoride in the water supply, no widespread monitoring of the adverse health effects fluorides are having on individuals within Shrewsbury is being conducted, nor are there any mechanisms in place to ensure the protection for or exclusion from the mass experiment for vulnerable populations, such as infants, the elderly, or those with certain identified health problems shown to be particularly sensitive to fluoride consumption. The EPA's default margin of error requires a factor of 10 between the hazard level and exposure level due to variability in human sensitivities. Applying this safety margin to the NTP's monograph's evidence of neurological harm at or above 1.5 milligrams per liter, the safe level of fluoride exposure would be 0.15 milligrams per liter, which is arrived at by dividing 1.5 milligrams per liter, the hazard level, by 10. The optimal water fluoridation in the United States of 0.7 milligrams per liter is nearly 5 times the safe level of 0.15 milligrams per liter for pregnant women and their offspring. A public forum will allow an open and respectful discussion of these 4 topics between this board and Shrewsbury residents. We look forward to the board's consideration of this request and its commitment to an open and comprehensive review process. We urge the board to return to its mission, not one-size-fits-all mandates, but policies that address the root cause of illness and inspire conditions in which all Shrewsbury residents can remain healthy.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So I'll give you a copy of this letter.
That would be wonderful.
Thanks. And there's additional details in the letter with regard to all of the
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
If you have this electronically also, love to get a copy.
Yeah, happy to.
If you
provide it.
email Ms. Stockwell, that would be
Thank you.
great. Thank you.
And in addition, we also have a petition that is a formal request to this board to reevaluate the community water fluoridation policy, hold a public hearing, and engage with the residents. And the petition was signed by 185 Shrewsbury residents, and so I have this as well to present. So it's the residents' endorsements, addresses, signatures, and all that. So hopefully, we hope you'll consider our request.
Great. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
being here, and thank you for your comments.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Ms. Burris, Julie Burris? Good morning.
Good morning.
Please make yourself comfortable. You have 3 minutes, please.
Oopsie. Okay. Well, again, Julie Boris, Shrewsbury, Town Meeting Member, Precinct 6. And today I'm asking the board and all of the people of Shrewsbury to take a very hard look at the Public Health Excellence Grant, what it actually is versus what it's being marketed as. I don't believe it's excellence, I believe it's expansion. This program eliminates local control over public health. Yes, our Board of Health will still exist on paper, but the real authority shifts to a new regional bureaucracy run by a regional director, a shared services coordinator, a multi-town advisory board, and the Massachusetts Department of Public Health. Decisions about local inspections, enforcement, emergency response, data nursing priorities will no longer be made here in our community by people who know our residents. They will be made regionally and ultimately dictated by the state. Second, we are being asked to commit to a 25-year regional structure in exchange for 2 years of grant money. 2. This is a grant to mandate trap. Once the original state funding that covers the first 2 years dries up, we will be locked into a regional public health department with new staff, new obligations, and new financial responsibilities. Our town will likely be expected to raise taxes and absorb these costs indefinitely. A 2-year grant in exchange for a 25-year obligation is not financial responsibility. It's signing a blank taxpayer check to expand big public health. And while this may seem like too much money to pass up, it's not worth it. For the cost of a single 4-bedroom home in Shrewsbury, over 2 years, we will be giving away all of our rights to self-govern. Third, the program forces us into 4 state-controlled surveillance systems: MAVEN to track infectious disease, MIIS for lifelong immunization registry data, Metric for inspection and enforcement, and a new one, the local public health data solution, a centralized statewide database that controls everything. These systems do not improve health, they track and trace people, and we did not agree to that because we were never consulted. After the ridiculous and unscientific public health policies that were imposed on us during COVID, why would we ever want to give away more of our local autonomy to the state? Fourth, under the SAFE law, DPH can just take over any time. The SAFE law that was rammed through allows the Department of Public Health Commissioner or the Commissioner of Environmental Protection, and I'm quoting, in the event of an outbreak of disease or healthcare situation important to the public health, terms so broad they could mean anything. The moment that declaration is made, DPH can coordinate, direct, and override any or all of the Board of Healths across multiple towns. By opting into this, with one direct declaration from the commissioner, our local authority is gone. Fifth, once we're in it, it is extremely difficult to get out. Withdrawal requires 6 to 12 months notice, votes from both the Select Board and the Board of Health, satisfaction of all outstanding financial obligations, DPH approval of the new governance arrangement, so if you don't want to be in it, they're still going to tell you what to do, and permanent transfer of all of our town's data. This is a one-way door. Once we enter, it's going to be impossible to leave. So I have some questions. What exactly about this grant program is going to improve our community's health? Because from everything I've read, nothing in this program prevents disease, improves fitness, increases access to healthy food, reduces chronic illness, or gives us cleaner water. It traces, it tracks, it reports upward, It's a power grab by the public health agencies that instituted policies like mask mandates for all of us, but especially children, for over 2 years, even outdoors, and during sports, mandating 6-foot distancing, shutting down small businesses and keeping schools closed while exempting large corporations, because that makes sense, and imposing one-size-fits-all mandates of liability-free pharmaceutical products on every community while treating natural immunity like it didn't exist. And everybody's favorite, when you go into a restaurant, you have to wear your mask until you sit down, and then it's okay because it doesn't travel once you sit down. It's fine. And nobody ever apologized for any of these bad policies. These were not science-based, they were control-based. And finally, why has there been no public forum on this, and why hasn't the community ever been invited to weigh in on this 25-year commitment? So I do not want to see this rubber stamped by Board of Health and then Select Board without a public discussion. Thank you for your time, and sorry, happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Thank you for your time, and happy Thanksgiving. Ms. Naomi Halpern?
Hi, Naomi Halpern, Precinct 9.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm speaking again on behalf of an informal group of concerned Shrewsbury residents who care deeply about transparency, accountability, and genuine public engagement. In July, I respectfully asked this board to reconsider its public comment policy, not because residents want more talking time, but because we asked for something far more essential: authentic engagement. A commitment that when residents raise valid, well-researched concerns, the board will review them in good faith and provide substantive follow-up after the meeting. While I appreciate that the quarterly restriction was removed, a positive step in the right direction, this one and only concession felt disappointingly short. For instance, the requirement to request to speak 7 days in advance seems excessive, especially when our own select board, our highest elected body, only requires notice by close of business the day before the meeting. Shouldn't the boards be consistent for Shrewsbury residents? But far more importantly, our most essential request, the heart of the issue, was not honored. Today, just as before, the policy contains no mechanism for this board to acknowledge, address, or even consider the substance of public concerns. We speak for 3 minutes, the board listens in silence, and then the issue disappears into the municipal Bermuda Triangle. That is not public participation, it's political theater, an appearance of openness with no dialogue, no accountability, and no meaningful exchange. Allowing people to speak while refusing to acknowledge their concerns is not true civic process. It's an empty gesture. How does this serve the public the board claims to represent? The board's mission is to promote the health and well-being of this community. Yet that mission cannot be fulfilled if the board refuses to acknowledge the horrific past harms from COVID-era public health policies, or to engage in any information that challenges prior assumptions. We are living in a moment of reassessment nationally, yet here in Shrewsbury, there's still no mechanism to acknowledge resident concerns or respond to them. Refusal to engage is not neutrality, it's avoidance, and avoidance is incompatible with public service. My central request remains simple, that the board commit to reviewing public feedback in good faith and providing timely, substantive follow-up, whether by email, at future meetings, or through another appropriate channel. It is the minimum expectation of a democratic public body, just acknowledgement and a meaningful response. And second, I have an additional ask, that the Board of Health schedule 2 open public dialogues per year with a brief Q&A, so residents and the board can speak with one another rather than past one another. These are not unreasonable requests. They are basic standards of transparent, community-centered governance. Shrewsbury residents are not here to disrupt. We're here because we care and because our voices matter. We are the public in public health, and we are asking not just to be heard, but to have our concerns acknowledged and meaningfully addressed. I hope you will consider and respond to these reasonable requests at the next Board of Health meeting. Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank
Happy
you. To you too.
Thanksgiving, yes.
Yes. And lastly, Ms. Christy Martineau.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Christy Martino Richards, 16 Hickory Drive, my assistant here. So continuing on fluoride, I just decided, I'm a visual person, so I decided to put a quick video together to kind of highlight the federal court case that Catherine had mentioned. If you're ready, he can play
To
it.
succeed in their lawsuit brought under the amended Toxic Substances Control Act, the plaintiffs must prove that a risk of injury to human health is present and that such risk is unreasonable. Plaintiffs must show that some segment of the United States population is exposed to the chemical at issue, fluoride, at levels that either exceed or are too close to the dosage at which the chemical presents a neurological hazard. After 7 years of litigation, an Obama-appointed federal judge ruled that fluoridation of water at 0.7 milligrams per liter, the level presently considered optimal in the United States, and the level that is currently in Shrewsbury's public water supply, poses an unreasonable risk of reduced IQ in children.
So if a pregnant mother wrote an email to CDC asking, if I drink fluoridated water during my pregnancy, will that provide a benefit to the teeth of my baby? CDC would not answer yes to that question, correct?
If we were to get an email as such, we would summarize our understanding of the evidence and saying, we have not found evidence that supports that shows benefit to the child if ingested, if community water fluoridation or some other form of fluoride is ingested by the mother.
Is the CDC aware of any evidence demonstrating benefits from consumption of fluoridated drinking water during the first 6 months of life?
We are not aware of any evidence.
The CDC admits that fluoride provides no benefit to children from conception to 6 months of age. 3 key NIH studies show that fluoride exposure to children in the same cohort causes a reduction of IQ. TIL showed a 9-point IQ reduction between bottle-fed babies in fluoridated water communities versus bottle-fed babies in non-fluoridated water communities.
CDC does not have any data on the tolerable upper fluoride intake for neurotoxic effects for infants.
Yes.
Okay. And you see how the definition also includes toddlers. So CDC does not have any data on the tolerable upper fluoride intake for neurotoxic effects on toddlers.
That's true.
Okay. And CDC, as you sit here today, is not aware of any data in the published literature that would define the tolerable upper fluoride intake for neurotoxic effects.
As a rep of CDC, to my knowledge, we don't have any knowledge about that.
Okay.
The CDC, FDA, and EPA have never established a tolerable upper limit for neurotoxic effects of fluoride on infants and toddlers. The NTP monograph is a comprehensive literature review that evaluated human, animal, and mechanistic studies on the effects of fluoride on neurodevelopment and cognition. It concluded that fluoride is presumed to be a cognitive neurodevelopment hazard to humans, at least at exposure levels above 1.5 milligram per liter.
Did you give any consideration as to what an appropriate benchmark MOE should be for fluoride neurotoxicity?
Yeah, I did. Given that the critical studies in question are probably epidemiological studies, human studies, a uncertainty factor of 10, which is appropriate for all life stages, inclusive of all life stages and vulnerabilities at face value, would be the benchmark MOE.
Okay.
The NTP monograph found fluoride to be a hazard at exposure levels above 1.5 milligrams per liter. Shrewsbury's current water fluoridation level is 0.7 milligrams per liter. Our actual margin of exposure, the difference between the hazard level and exposure level, is 2.14. EPA experts testified that the benchmark margin of exposure for fluoride should be 10. Using EPA expert data, the highest allowable concentration of fluoride in Shrewsbury's water supply would be 0.15 milligrams per liter, nearly 5 times lower than our current level of 0.7 milligrams per liter.
So CDC recognizes and accepts that fluoride's predominant mechanism for preventing tooth decay comes from fluoride's topical contact with the outside of the enamel, correct?
Predominantly, that's where the benefits are, yes.
Okay. What studies does CDC base the statement that fluoride also has a systemic effect?
At this point, I am not able to point to the exact studies that forms the basis of that position.
Okay. Can you provide me any explanation as to the basis for CDC statement on this?
Any explanation?
Yeah. Any reference to any information, anything that I could go to assess the foundation for CDC's position on this?
At this point, I wouldn't be able to provide that to you.
Okay.
The risks of fluoride to infant and fetal brain development far outweigh any benefit to teeth. The CDC admits fluoride's benefit is topical. There is no systemic benefit for the ingestion of fluoride. Shrewsbury's public water supply should be safe for all residents. Not some, not most, all residents.
Thank you very much. Thank you for being here.
I can send that to you as well.
That would be wonderful. Ms. Stockwell will be happy to accept that electronically.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Okay, the next agenda item is review and act to approve the Central Mass Regional Health Department's intermunicipal agreement for the Public Health Excellence Grant. The grant has already been in existence, and the intermunicipal agreement has already been reviewed by this board earlier. Are there any questions by any board member? Ms. Garcia, do you want to make any comments?
Yeah, I'm happy to provide some background. So in July of this year, Shrewsbury, Grafton, and West Boylston opted to leave their pre-existing regional health model through the city of Worcester to create their own model just between the three communities of Shrewsbury, Grafton, and West Boylston. This is done in combination with local funding and under the shared services arrangement through the Public Health Excellence Grant. The Public Health Excellence Grant is a state-funded program aimed at strengthening public health workforce, meeting established performance standards, expanding capacity, and delivering more equitable public health services. In order to establish a clear governance structure and ensure that local boards of health retain their local authority, we are taking on this intermunicipal agreement. Within the intermunicipal agreement, it outlines our governance structure, which is one appointed representative by the Board of Health for each participating community. It outlines the shared services program, what our aims are in enabling cross-jurisdictional work by public health agents, nurses, and other staff while maintaining that local Board of Health autonomy. It also talks on funding and financial protections. So these funds are through the multi-year Public Health Excellence Grant, which goes through fiscal year 27. If the funding does end, municipalities may decide whether to contribute local funds, but participation is not automatically required. There are also clear guidelines within this intermunicipal agreement about adding communities, withdrawing, and terminating participation. Already with our new model, we've seen increased programming by providing full weekend coverage to conduct food inspections for temporary events. This was not always occurring previously. We've provided after-hour and weekend response support to hoarding concerns that are brought to us from our first response partners in fire and police. We've increased our community programming, including attendance at health fairs and participation in other educational initiatives. And we've increased cross-departmental collaboration, including a recent public health-led emergency response tabletop exercise that talked about extreme heat events here in Shrewsbury that included our partners in the schools, fire, Selco, and other agencies in town. A little bit about sustainability of the collaborative. While we have the guaranteed PHE dollars, part of our plan is to identify alternative grants and other sustainable funding sources to ensure that we can continue to offer these high exemplary standards to our participating communities to protect public health and expand our educational and downstream interventional programming. I'm happy to answer any specific questions about the Public Health Excellence Grant or any other matters located within the IMA.
I have no further questions. I think it's been self-explanatory in terms of what the grant has accomplished and, more importantly, what the IMA has accomplished with the regional collaboration of all three towns, which are contiguous. Members of the board? Any
No.
other
No, I don't
questions?
have any questions. Thank you.
Do you need us to take a formal vote?
Yep.
All right. So a motion to accept the intermunicipal agreement on the Central Mass Regional Health Department.
I'll make a motion to accept.
Second.
I'll second the motion.
All right. Roll call vote. Ms. Rosacci.
Aye.
Ms. Walker.
Votes aye.
Abraham votes aye. It's unanimous. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our next agenda item is to appoint a primary and a backup representative to the CMRHD Advisory Board. Ms. Walker, Emily Walker, has graciously agreed to be our primary representative. Hearing any other concerns, we'll take a formal roll call vote to solidify that. Ms. Versace?
Thank you for volunteering to do that. I'll make a motion.
I second that sentiment. I'll second that vote. So we'll take a roll call vote. Ms. Rosacci?
Rosacci votes aye.
Okay. Abraham votes aye. Ms. Walker?
Votes aye. I
Yes.
will do that
Okay,
roll.
great. Thank you for representing us.
Yeah,
Thank you
absolutely.
very much. And we need a backup representative. I think our town administrator, Mr. Mizikar, might be most appropriate since he has been integrally involved with the generation of this grant and the process of putting together this entire agreement. So if there is no objection, we'll take a roll call vote to appoint Mr. Kevin Mizikar, Town Administrator of Shrewsbury, as the backup representative to the
I
advisory
vote
board.
aye.
Okay, Ms. Walker?
Votes aye.
And Abraham votes aye. It's unanimous. Thank you. The request to approve the Town of Shrewsbury's website as the central posting website for all Central Mass Regional Health Department public health meeting agendas and minutes. Barring any objection, I'll entertain a motion to accept that as the proposed hosting site.
Yep,
Ms.
I'll second that
Rosacci?
motion.
Aye. Okay, Ms. Walker?
Am I voting at this point? Yeah, I will vote aye. Yes,
Okay, Ms.
absolutely.
Rosacci, aye, and Abraham votes aye, so we do approve that unanimously. All right, we will turn it back to you, Ms. Garcia, for any director updates.
Yeah, definitely. So I think I gave a few of ours. Our public health emergency tabletop exercise was part of our public health emergency preparedness grant deliverables for this fiscal year. So it was a great opportunity to bring all of our partners together. Like I said, the event was based around extreme heat and power failures widespread across the community. I think it's timely as we're seeing more of those extreme heat events in the summertime months to really understand what our capabilities are to respond to an emergency where there's loss of power and cooling capabilities, to make sure that we're supporting residents in cooling, we're providing connection to alternative places for folks who are on medical equipment for life-sustaining measures, to be connected with other agencies. So we definitely identified a lot of strengths here in this community on how we can help support residents in those senses. We're in the final round interviews starting next week for our public health public health coordinator position. This position will perform grant management for the Public Health Excellence Grant, in addition to helping support other programming that we're hoping to establish in our communities. So sitting on homelessness task force, thinking about substance use prevention programming, coordinating with the schools to provide increased education and increasing our community outreach at different health fairs and events. So I think it's going to be a really important position, and we're excited to get somebody on board. I think those, aside from what I kind of already talked about, I think those are our main updates.
Great. Questions for Ms. Garcia?
No, it's great to see that being done in town, so.
Yeah, absolutely. Agree. Thank you very much for that. Public health nurse updates. Richard?
Thank you. So yeah, within the last month, it's been busy. I've been able to form a lot of relationships with a lot of the stakeholders in town. I attended a meeting at the high school with their wellness committee, so I'm happy to be part of that and to go to future meetings. We're going to be part of a health fair they're having in the beginning of December. We made a connection with the Council on Aging, and hopefully in the new year, we will start holding monthly nursing hours, blood pressure checks, things like that. I was able to go to the Office of Local and Regional Health and attend a seminar and training on the new guidelines for blood pressure, which was very informative, and it will be great to bring that information to the town as well. Respiratory illness remains low across our region and across the state. And then just a reminder of the FDA recall on the ByHeart formula. It has been removed from shelves, but I know there's been reports online and social media where people are still seeing it, but that the formula has been recalled in all forms at this time.
Great. Thank you. Questions for Richard?
No questions.
No questions.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Right, environmental health inspections.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to echo a few things that Bridget had pointed out. We'll start with the ByHeart formula. There are three, or no one, and here there's only one. Excuse me. There's two businesses in Shrewsbury that did carry it, so I did a personal inspection there, talked to the manager, made sure they're off the shelves, made sure they're not there anymore, and talked about their whole process and everything. So it wasn't just expecting them to have it done. Department of Public Health asked us to do follow-ups. So we're in communication with the state about all those. So all the communities around here have all pulled it off, so there's no concerns there. Along with what Bridget had said too, myself and Mackenzie and Annette as well have been out there doing inspections. So far we did 34 food inspections, including a few housing inspections, excuse me. So 31 food inspections and some housing inspections. We've been building relationships as well. A lot of the people we've spoken to are very happy that now there's a dedicated health department as opposed to outsourcing to Worcester or contracting to other communities. So we're building those relationships and making putting a face to our name, to our new department, and everybody seems to be pretty excited about that so far. I can't necessarily speak to the Title V septic projects, but you can see here that there's been a few that have been subcontracted out still to Phil Legere. I forget what town he's in, but our contracted Title V agent, and we've done a lot, as she also mentioned, about some after-hours events. So I was out 2 Fridays ago doing an event that we may not have been able to do before that had a few food vendors and so forth. So, and then we have another one coming up, the Yuletide event in the Common. I'll spend all day Saturday there as well, making sure that we're serving safe food to the community out there as well. I think that covers everything. Did I miss anything that I wanted to? Okay.
No, and in all your inspections, no patterns of any food issues that we need to...
Not consistent. There's
sporadic
always
events.
patterns. There's always going to be things that we're find. I was very excited that Mackenzie and I both are experienced inspectors, and we both, and the three of us, view things the same way. We are doing inspections the same way. We understand the code the same way. We interpret things the same way. And so even though, say, Mackenzie is doing half of Shrewsbury, I'm doing the other half, we feel very confident they're all being seen the same way.
Wonderful. So that creates uniformity.
Yes.
Standards. Great. Well, thank you for all that you do, especially after hours and weekends. Questions from the board? Any
No,
further
I have no questions.
Michael? All right, great. Our next meeting is scheduled for December 17th at 8 a.m.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay. Board members, if there are no other agenda items, we can adjourn the meeting.
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Okay, Ms. Walker.
I'll second the motion.
All right, roll call vote, Ms. Rosacci,
Rosachi votes aye.
Ms. Walker,
Votes aye.
Abraham votes aye. The meeting is adjourned, and happy Thanksgiving, and thank you to everybody who
Thank you.
came
Happy
here and
Thanksgiving.
spoke in front of the board.
Thank you.